Umbono Film Screenings is a platform for African film producers to showcase their work, reach new audiences and stoke demand for locally produced films on non-mainstream platforms. The screening takes place once a month at the University of Johannesburg in partnership with Love Infinity Media. And this month's film is Skeleton, a film produced by UJ Arts and Culture, conceived and developed during the peak of COVID-19 lockdown when theatres were closed. The founder of Love Infinity and the host of the screening, Noluthando Rotwane, joins us now via Zoom. Noluthando, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning. How's it?
Very well. Good to have you on the show this morning.
I'm glad to be here.
Great stuff. Now, first of all, tell us about Umbono Films, how it all started, and how Love Infinity and UJ got to work together on this project.
You know, when they say luck means preparation. So I basically was going to send the proposal to another organization and then sent it to one of my close friends who works at UJ to proofread it. And then she was like, no, this is good. We want to be on board.
Right.
So this all started in 2020. The whole initiative was to give filmmakers an opportunity to showcase their films because I realized that a couple of people that I know in the industry would create a movie or a film or a documentary and not have an audience to show it to. So to me, this was also to create awareness on certain social conversations or social ills, if I may say.
Yeah.
Because most of these stories tell a story. So most of the time it's like a film that will focus on depression or a film that will focus on the social ills we have as Black people in this nation or Africans in general. And part of it was for me to help with fighting Afrophobia and xenophobia because it was rife at the time. On top of having COVID as a pandemic that was also affecting us.
Yeah.
So I felt like if people see what people are actually going through and not just mainstream media, then it would at least make it better for us to understand each other as a people and hold space for each other instead of fighting and all that.
And case in point, of course, is Skeleton, which was conceived at the peak of COVID-19. And that particular period of COVID-19, it exposed us to an ocean of talent that South Africa has in terms of unleashing so much creativity from the creative space. Now, do you want to explain to us why supporting emerging filmmakers is so important to the overall health of the film industry?
If we don't support emerging filmmakers, we're facing a dying industry because it's going to end up being recycled content, the same story being told over and over again. And else there's a big pool of stories that could be told and an amazing pool of talent. So this also gives them a chance to show themselves and what they are capable of. So in terms of the films that I've already shown, some had never had an audience before to get at least feedback of how their work was. And I was fortunate enough to showcase a film called A Grave Confession, which I also worked on. And now it's on Showmax. So it's like things keep growing and growing and growing. So they also need referrals. So when they enter film festivals, they usually do get a question of, has your film ever been screened to a public audience? So this is also providing opportunity for emerging filmmakers to be able to get into the film festival space where they're able to apply for awards, the SABCs, such and such.
And I suppose it thrust into the spotlight the importance of screening one's film. So how does your screening program specifically support emerging filmmakers?
So I specifically select from a pool of unknowns.
Okay.
I don't go to commercial. I do sometimes fall into the commercial space where I ask a commercial director or producer to send me their film. But most of the time, the pool is from people who just graduated and maybe got funding, created a film, and never had the space to showcase it. And I do also focus on women producers and directors a lot because it is kind of still a male-dominated space. And I feel like it's our responsibility to create a network for each other. So I'm not closing off the access to male filmmakers because I've had a lot. But my main focus would be on women in film.
Yes.
So it's, for me, the importance of that is that I just drop into the pool of people that are unknown, new creatives, and just try to get their films to be showcased.
Yeah, speaking of the pool of the unknowns, can you describe any success stories of filmmakers who have gone on to have successful careers after being a part of your program?
Well, it's just for now, David Mzomba, that's the one whose film is now on Showmax. And I mean, I've got an opportunity to work with even Masakane. So the other part of this is to not only talk about the social ills, but also work with organizations that can help people that are going through that. So when we screened a film called Eruption, a lot of people came out about how they felt depressed, they felt overwhelmed, they felt like they were not good enough, and we were able to kind of channel them into the right direction with providing them with a counseling service that would be able to assist them. So that for me is part of a success story. And Eruption got the exposure that it wanted because this was filmmakers that were dealing with depression, with the depression of being graduates from a film school and not having opportunities provided to them to succeed or a platform for their work to be seen. So so far, yes, that those are the two I would say are the main success stories that I have.
Fair enough. And in what ways do you believe the film industry as a whole benefits, from a diverse range of emerging voices and perspectives?
I mean, we don't want to be seen as bad storytellers, I think, as a nation. Because there was a point, I was even having this discussion with a colleague of mine, that there was a point that TV was the same. It was difficult to watch because every story was about a family betrayal. Every story was about someone taking someone's wife. Every story was about like a love triangle. So it was like need a diversified market of films. So also kind of exposing documentaries as a space to look into as filmmakers or consumers, because I felt like there is no like solid platform that provides documentaries a solid space other than the ones we can stream from. But on mainstream channels, documentaries are rarely seen these days. So that would be the advantage for emerging films to be exposed to that, because who knows, one day an Amazon would see us or other big companies that would provide them space to be there.
Of course, and that with that kind of support, then South Africa will be a film powerhouse. Noluthando, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, Noluthando Rotwane talking to us about the upcoming UJ Umbono Film Screening and the importance of supporting emerging filmmakers.